Hi, this is John Linneball from John Linneball Tutoring, and this is Idioms of Death. Disclaimer, I am not your doctor or your lawyer. Nothing in this video should be taken as medical or legal advice. If you have a medical or legal problem, please go see a doctor or lawyer qualified to handle your problem. Copyright notice. All the content of this video is either my original content or used pursuant to the fair use exception or other exceptions to copyright law. If you feel I'm using your content illegally or unfairly, please contact me and I'll discuss it with you. The sentences and quotation marks after each phrase I use are usage examples I have created, not quotes from any source, unless you count me as a source. Any quotes from other sources are properly attributed. Links to relevant websites are in the notes below this video. So let's start with bite the dust. Bite the dust means die. It comes from hitting the dusty ground face down. Presumably you bite the dust. You can hear that in the old Queen song, Another One Bites the Dust. I'm not going to include a clip here, but you can go and find a YouTube video of this in the comments below or the description below this video. By the farm means to die. Alice Cooper's Hey Stupid has a reference to that. There's also a link to that video if you'd like to see it below. I'm not going to have a clip in it because I'm really tired of copyright claims against my videos. The saying originates from World War I days, where if you crashed an airplane into a farm, that would result in an insurance settlement for damage to the farm that would often allow the farmer to pay off the mortgage on the farm. Thus, the dead pilot would, in quotes, buy the farm for the farmer. Dead reckoning. Dead reckoning is determination without the aid of celestial navigation of the position of a ship or aircraft from the record of courses sailed or flown, the distance made, which can be estimated from the velocity, the known starting point, and the known or estimated drift. So if you have a ship headed like this, you can say, okay, the drift might take you a certain number of degrees off course or a certain distance off course. So this is the course, but they know it's going to go more like this. And then you're going from the velocity times the time. Obviously, distance equals rate times time. So that becomes very easy to figure out where a ship, or I guess in this case an airplane, is just from using these factors accurately. You can use dead reckoning if you don't know where you are and you can't see the stars and things like that. And maybe if you can't get connected to the global positioning system, your GPS satellite link is down. So that's what dead reckoning is, just using mathematics without stars or GPS to figure out where you are. The Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, according to the Wikipedia, the Dead Sea, or Arabic al-Bahr al-Mayit, Sea of Death, Hebrew Yam Hamala, the Salt Sea, also called the Salt Sea, is a landlocked salt lake between Israel and Jordan in southwestern Asia. Its eastern shore belongs to Jordan, and its southern half of the western shore belongs to Israel. And it's also within the Palestinian West Bank and has been under Israeli occupation since the 1967 Arab-Israeli War. So the Jordan River, from which the Dead Sea the Dead Sea receives nearly all its water, flows from the north into the lake. So the Dead Sea has the lowest elevation and is the lowest body of water on the surface of Earth. It's also really, really, really salty, and the Jordan River and even the lake's water is being used for commercial purposes. But you can see how much looks like that salt right there. It's really, really salty, so there probably literally is nothing growing there, or practically nothing lives in it. So that's why it's called the Dead Sea. Okay, any verb to death means, literally would mean you do it till someone dies. If you beat someone to death, you've beaten that person until they died. I hope you didn't do that. Bored to death, it's not literal, it's figurative. Oh, I'm so bored. I feel like I'm going to die. Oh, it's so hot out here. I'm sweating to death. Again, you're not literally going to sweat to death. You're not literally so bored that you're going to die. If a thing has been done to death, it's a cliche, it's trite, it's overdone, it's not all original. So someone might tell an aspiring young high school age comedian, look, jokes about bad school cafeteria food have been done to death. Try writing material about something else. I love you to death means to love someone very much. So there's an old Bill Cosby sketch from when I was in junior high school, roughly about 13 or 14, where Bill Cosby talks about grandparents saying, "Oh, I just love you to death." And that's very funny. There's a link to it in the description below. I can't do justice to it, and I don't want to get a copyright complaint. So just go hook up, click that link, and have a little laugh. And then, of course, there's some heavy metal bands. Megadeth with their song Love to Death. There's a link to that below. And Judas Priest, Love You to Death. So they're kind of making a little play on that. Lake Erie. Okay, grew up very close to Lake Erie. For a while, Lake Erie was considered a dead lake because it was so polluted, but plant and animal life did come back, probably as a result of the Clean Water Act and Clean Air Acts and stupid industrial policy that shipped a lot of industry overseas. However, Lake Erie still has problems from algal blooms, persistent pollutant chemicals, DDT, mercury, things like that, bacteria, and more. A large algal growth in the central basin depleted all oxygen and did create a dead zone, and it wasn't until Lake Erie became a joke on late-night talk shows that its problems were addressed. By 1970, the environmental impact on Lake Erie reached its dramatic climax and the lake was declared dead. But hey, by the time I was, in the Cub Scouts and stuff in the late 70s, early 80s, Lake Erie had started to make a comeback, although they still suggested that pregnant women not eat fish that came out of Lake Erie or the Niagara River, for example. Anyway, caught dead, catch your death, who died? So if someone says, oh my god, I wouldn't be caught dead in that outfit. That outfit is insanely ugly. I wouldn't be caught dead doing something. That activity is out of style, disfavored in some way. Oh my god, I wouldn't be caught dead shopping at Walmart. The old joke from my stepmother is that if you went to Kmart and someone saw you, you had to say, oh, I'm just here to buy oil for my car. So you don't want to be caught dead shopping for clothes at Walmart or Kmart. Would make a corpse blush, something that's so embarrassing or rude even a dead person would somehow still be able to blush because they're so embarrassed. Wouldn't be seen dead doing something, so same thing as being caught dead. Who died and made you God? Or who died and made you the king, the queen, my boss? Stop ordering you around. I don't work for you. You're not a ruler. You're not God. So if you catch your death of means you could literally get a cold and die. You could get your death of the flu. Can also mean figuratively that no, but you're going to wish you were dead for a while because you're going to be so sick. Situations in which you might be dead. If you are dead to the world, you're passed out or you're sleeping. A dead duck is someone who's helpless, stuck in a position where harm is sure to befall him or her. Bob was a dead duck. The highway patrol caught him on radar, driving 110 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. Dead in the water, unable to function, broken at a standstill. So literally a dead duck could be dead in the water, could be floating like this little rubber ducky is here. And so could a motorboat with a broken engine. Figuratively, if something is stuck, it may be dead in the water. The copy shop was dead in the water when the power for the whole city went out. The owner then wished he'd bought a backup generator. A few dead things, a dead giveaway, a clue or a hint that tells everyone all the information he or she needs to know what's going on. Bruce's confused look at the cards was a dead giveaway to Paul. Bruce obviously had a good hand and didn't know what cards to play. A dead heat is when two competitors in a race or contest finish in an exact tie. The two horses finished the race in a dead heat. Even the photo finish couldn't show a definite winner. And a deadline is when the final date and time at which something is due. So the practice of law is often called a deadline-driven environment. So don't miss the deadline, and here's a saying, the ultimate inspiration is the deadline. Another way to be dead. A person is dead but won't lie down. That means a person long past his or her prime who keeps making dated or irrelevant remarks in an attempt to be up to date and relevant just fails miserably at it. So you can compare that with Jumping the Shark or Jump the Shark, where a television show or some other cultural icon loses its relevancy, makes an attempt to regain relevancy, but succeeds only in underscoring its irrelevancy. So here we see a little thing from when Fonzie from Happy Days actually jumped a shark on that TV show that was very popular in the 1970s, but was starting to lose viewership, so they actually had him jump a shark. You can think outdated TV shows or movies, as I just said, people who've graduated and moved on. So you can think of Matthew McConaughey's character here in Dazed and Confused. He was somebody who graduated, but he still kind of hung around in the parking lot, hung around at parties and things like that. So you can see a little clip down in the description, where you can go to the scene where he describes why he likes to hang around the high school, even though he's dead but won't lie down. You know, once you've graduated from a school, especially a college where you go away to the college or you go away to a boarding school, as soon as you've graduated, you're pretty much dead around there. Dead phrases and idioms. Deadheading. According to gardeningknowhow.com, deadheading is the gardening term for the removal of faded or dead flowers from plants. Deadheading is generally done both to maintain a plant's appearance and to improve its overall performance. And according to truckerpath.com, deadhead in trucking is when a truck driver is driving with an empty trailer. So since loads aren't found in our backyards, deadhead is usually necessary for owner-operators who must drive a certain distance to pick up a load. That's the deadheading I knew of, and then of course many of you probably know of Deadhead, a fan of the band The Grateful Dead, can also mean a really dull, boring person. Okay, some people would say lots of deadheads who are fans of the Grateful Dead are also really dull, boring people, so ha ha ha. More dead phrases and idioms. Dead on. It's completely accurate. For example, a bullseye, it's dead on the target. A comment that hits home. When you have a comment that hits home, such as The Simpsons usually does dead-on satire. It's often been noted for its dead-on satire. If you're dead on time, it means you're right on time. If you're dead in general, it can mean absolute or perfect. So something that's dead ahead is directly ahead of you. A dead center means it's right in the exact center. That is, it's a bullseye that hits the target dead center. If you're a dead ringer, it's someone who looks exactly like someone else, usually a celebrity. So you could say the actor was a dead ringer for celebrity attorney Johnny Cochran. That was an episode of Seinfeld where they had at least a couple where, yes, there's some actor who looked very much like the attorney Johnny Cochran of O.J. case fame was on there. Dead end. A street that stops, also known as not a through street in California. There's a cross street on California Street in San Francisco that is near the Stockton Tunnel. If you ignore the not a through street sign, or what would be a dead end sign back east, you would fall off a bridge and land near the entrance to the Stockton Tunnel. So as a verb, to end in a dead end. So if something dead ends, it ends in a dead end, as when a street runs into an immovable obstacle. So if it stops at a store's parking lot or something, you can't literally drive through the store. So that would dead end in the store's parking lot or at the store. As an adjective, it can describe a street, a job, etc., with no chance for improvement or advancement. So Bob worked at a dead-end job on a dead-end street. So the street literally dead-ended, and his job was just one where, look, nobody ever gets promoted to management from your position. You're stuck here. This is a dead-end job. Your choices are keep working here or quit. You're not going to get promoted. That would be a dead-end job. More dead phrases and idioms. A dead letter office is the place where undeliverable and unreturnable mail ends. For example, since the Christmas card's return address was Santa's Workshop, North Pole, and the addressee had moved with no forwarding address, the card ended up in the dead letter office. So obviously, if you don't have a real return address and you don't have an address to send it to, even if they open it up, they might just find, oh, it just read, from Santa to little Timmy, Merry Christmas. That doesn't help them determine where it goes, so it just gets stuck at the dead letter office. If something's dead and buried, well, literally it means something died and it has been buried. Figuratively, it just means something's gone forever and it's not coming back. After approximately 1981, disco music was dead and buried. But they came out with different kinds of music that kind of the same thing, in my opinion. But nobody asked me. Okay. Dead and done with. So something that's finished and no longer matters, similar to dead and buried. That issue's dead and done with. We've already settled it. Why are you even trying to bring it up? Dead and gone. Literally dead and gone, meaning dead. Figuratively, it means you've left without a trace. So, I don't know. That whole family's dead and gone. Just, they packed up one night and left. Doesn't mean they're literally dead, but they're definitely gone. So you can think of the Queen song, All Dead, All Dead. There's a link to that down in the description. It's also just a really nice song. Dead as a doornail, literally dead. A doornail is something that's definitely not alive. It's just a piece of iron or steel. And, so you can say something like the family cat was found outside dead as a doornail. That means it's definitely dead. Figuratively, it just means not functioning. The car battery was dead as a doornail. Jim called AAA to get a new battery. AAA does offer a battery service where they'll come with a truck, bring your battery, install it, and boom, you're on the road again. Dead on one's feet, exhausted. After the 12-hour factory shift, Bob was dead on his feet. So it means you're so tired, you're still walking, but you feel like you're dead. Dead tired basically means the same thing as dead on one's feet. Just you're so tired, you just want to go to bed. You feel like a walking corpse. All right, even more dead words and phrases. A deadbeat is someone who doesn't pay his or her bills or other debts. If you are dumb enough to make illegal bets, you might have an enforcer for a bookie come in. Hey, don't be a deadbeat. You know what? Deadbeats get beat dead. Something like that. Anyway, if you are a deadbeat, if you are dead space beat, that just means you're dead beat. You're just dead tired. You're really tired. A dead loss is a total complete loss. People who invest their time in get-rich-quick pyramid schemes usually find their investments to be a dead loss. They're worse off than before they started. So there are lots of pyramid schemes that you can see out there. There's a link to John Oliver's piece on multi-level marketing, which is another way to describe a pyramid scheme. So, it's something about 97% or 96 point something percent of people who invest in those schemes end up losing money. Dead meat. If a person's dead meat, it means that person's going to get in a lot of trouble, that there's no way that person's going to avoid trouble. So the bank robber knew he was dead meat when the dye pack exploded, painting him and all the money bright orange, and his getaway car driver took off without him. All right, more dead phrases. Dead on arrival, often abbreviated as DOA, means literally dying before getting to a hospital or other medical provider. The drunk driver was pronounced DOA at County General Hospital. Figuratively, it's an idea, a project, or an undertaking. Haha, get it? Wink, wink, like Undertaker? Okay, that failed before it could start or proceed very far. For example, the casino idea was dead on arrival. The entire state and all Native American tribes in the state all made casino gambling illegal. So there was nowhere in that state to have a legal casino because it wasn't legal anywhere. That would definitely be a dead on arrival or DOA idea. Deadpan. Deadpan is when you do something with no expression or emotion on your face. The comedian's deadpan expression as he made increasingly nonsensical statements in the sketch made the sketch absolutely hilarious to watch. Watch almost any Monty Python sketch where you can have somebody like the Dead Parrot sketch or something like, oh, it's pointing for the fjords, and at least one of the characters is just saying the most ridiculous things, completely deadpan or just very seriously, and you just laugh because it sounds even more ridiculous when you hear the tone of someone just saying, oh, it's 12 o'clock, and they're saying, oh, well, the thing that holds the sun in the sky is a sky hook. You're like, what? Okay. Anyway, we can see this man here with a nice deadpan lack of expression while he has bananas on his head, so that's very deadpan. Dead set. So if you cannot be convinced of anything other than what you already believe, you are dead set on something. Dan was dead set against casino gambling in Niagara Falls, New York, no matter how many upstate Native American tribes had it or how many casinos there were in Niagara Falls, Canada. He was just dead set. He's like, no, casinos are bad. You see those bumper stickers that say casinos mean jobs? Yeah, casinos mean mobs. I don't want that. Okay. Die hard. Well, die hard means to end very slowly, if at all. Old habits die hard. People tend to give up habits very slowly, if at all. And of a tool or an object, it can handle heavy use. So here we have a Sears Die Hard car battery. The idea is that brand name suggests that this is a really tough battery. You can really give it a lot of heavy-duty usage and it'll still keep going. When you talk about a person being diehard, you're saying that person is a true believer who will never give up. So a diehard Republican is going to vote Republican until he or she dies, for example. And of course, here's the old Bruce Willis movie, Die Hard, that looks like in this picture was made into a video game. If you haven't seen, I think there were at least 3 Die Hard movies, definitely you should see the first one. The other 2 are actually pretty good too. So anyway, yippee-ki-yay. Dying words. To die down is to fade away. The crowd's applause was roaring at first, but it did die down eventually. Die for or dying to, you're very eager for something. I would die for some ice cream. Doesn't mean literally they're going to die, because if you die, then what good would the ice cream be to you? Ha ha ha. It just means I really want some ice cream. She's dying to meet you. Again, she's not literally dying, but she's very eager to meet you. Die off or die out, to stop or literally die gradually. The dodo bird died out over time. The chemical spill in New York caused a die-off of rats and other creatures that lived in the sewers. Did you find this video useful? If you did, please like it and subscribe to this channel. Neither action costs you anything. You'll be alerted about my new videos. Why do I care? Well, it's simple. YouTube doesn't let me share any ad revenue unless I have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, that's 240,000 minutes, of view time in a year. While many people are watching these, I don't have 4,000 hours of watch time. I don't have anywhere near 1,000 subscribers, and for the same reasons, you're not only welcome, but encouraged to share links to this video, put it in playlists, etc. I'm always happy to read and respond to constructive criticism or suggestions for new videos. I do reserve the right to delete comments from and block those who specialize in destructive criticism. You know, trolls or things that are off topic, you know, spammers and disturbed people. So you can contact me at 415-623-4251, or you can email me at john@johnlinneval.com. You can also text me on my cell phone number, and you can mail me at 1859 Powell Street, number 109, San Francisco, California, 94133. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day.